All right, in this video, I'm gonna break down for you what I think are the top 10 Ethereum Layer 2 airdrops that you can still farm today. In some cases, they're gonna be TVL based or liquidity based, meaning the more money you have, the better chance you have of actually getting a decent airdrop. And in other cases, they are going to be more transaction based. And in the second case, you don't necessarily need thousands of dollars in order to qualify for a solid airdrop. What you need to do is to constantly click buttons and move money around. There are also a couple of hybrid options that combine the two. And for this video, I will be excluding testnets because I think that's in a separate category altogether. Now, this website right here is L2B, which tracks all of the different Ethereum L2s based on TVL or total value logged on the network. And as you can see, there's absolutely a ton of Ethereum L2s, and these are all the ones that are actually currently live. There's also a bunch of upcoming projects as well that haven't even technically launched yet on mainnet. And the reason why I'm focusing on Ethereum L2s today is because generally speaking, these airdrops have a much higher likelihood of having a high value than, for example, just a regular app on an L2. So for example, in a recent case, Starknet has a market cap of almost $1 billion and a fully diluted market cap of over $7 billion. And if we compare that to the most recent airdrop of an app on Starknet, that only has a market cap of $9 million. So I do think that Ethereum L2s are still a high value airdrop target, especially relative to just regular old apps. And there are definitely some solid opportunities on this list. So let's start by talking about ones within the top 10. And I'm just gonna say straight off the bat, I'm not even including Base on this list because I personally don't think they are going to be dropping a token in the near future and potentially never. And the reason for that is that Base is the L2 launched by Coinbase, the company, which is governed by the SEC. It's a publicly traded company in the US, and there's going to be a lot of stringent rules and regulations around what they can and can't do with tokens because they can't actually launch a security, especially since the company itself is already publicly traded and the coin shares are the security. So personally, I don't see a Base token dropping any point in the near future. Now, on top of that, Arbitrum, Optimism, ZK Sync, Starknet, and Manta have already dropped their tokens. And aside from some ecosystem incentives, there's not going to be major airdrops for those moving forward. The Blast token is also dropping in 5 days from now, so I don't see that as a good target for people that are starting out right now, but there are definitely some options. So let's start by talking about the TVL or liquidity-based L2 airdrops. These are the ones where really it doesn't matter so much how many transactions you push on the network, but how much money you use to actually bridge to the network and then use in DeFi apps or provide liquidity. So for starters, Linea is definitely an option. This, however, is in the late stages. At this point, there is at maximum 5 months left until the token drops, but potentially less if it reaches a $3 billion TVL mark before the 5 months is up. Now, in order to farm the Linea airdrop at this point, all you need to do is go sign up for the Linea Voyage, the Surge, connect your wallet, sign a message, and then you need to bridge ETH or stablecoins or other crypto assets to the Linea network and deposit them into DeFi apps. And there's a list on this website here of all the different apps that are eligible in order to earn LXPL, which is going to be a token that is convertible into the Linea airdrop when the token actually drops. Now this one, especially since it's in the late stages, I would say highly benefits people that have larger amounts of capital. So if you only have a couple of $100s, this probably is not for you. Another TVL based L2 airdrop is the Swell L2. So Swell is launching their own layer 2. And in order to qualify for this, all you need to do is deposit assets for now. That's it. So it's very simple. However, this one is also in the late stages. And if you haven't farmed it yet, it would probably only make sense if you're starting with a larger amount of capital. But another airdrop opportunity where there's definitely still time is Scroll. And I would say this is probably one of the highest value targets within the L2 ecosystem right now because it's one of the newer L2s. They have a solid amount of funding, around $100 million. They're going to be valued in the billions for sure. And their airdrop campaign more or less just launched. And the way that you earn points or marks for this is again by bridging assets to the Scroll L2. Currently in session 0, which is what they're in right now, you earn marks, which is their version of the points, just for holding assets in your wallet. But moving forward in future sessions, you will also earn points for taking those assets and depositing them into DeFi apps or providing liquidity. Another TVL-based L2 airdrop right now is Carrick, and this is also a restaking airdrop, so it's a solid multi-airdrop qualifier, but they did launch their own L2 And in order to qualify for a portion of the Carrick airdrop, more or less what you need to do is just, again, bridge assets over and hold them there. But in this case, there's a lot of options of assets that you can use. And I would say that there is still time for this one. It's not imminently dropping the token. In the same vein as Carrick, we have Zirkit, which is again an L2 and a restaking airdrop combined. I do think that there is still time to qualify for this one. And again, the way that you qualify is just by depositing assets and holding them. And then the final L2 opportunity that I wanted to mention within this TVL or liquidity category is Raya Network. Now, they've actually launched live on mainnet. Raya is basically an L2 launch to provide liquidity to market makers and order books. And the way that you rank up for this airdrop is simply by making deposits and then holding those assets there to earn experience points, which will be convertible into the token when it drops. So this one, I do think that there definitely is still time because it is also relatively new. So in my opinion, those are 6 Ethereum L2 airdrops that are high value targets and where in some cases it's in late stages, but you could still ape in with a large amount of money and qualify. And in some of the other cases, it's definitely still early and you have time to qualify for them. Next, let's move to the category of transaction-based airdrops. And the first one that I want to talk about is Tyco. So they just launched on mainnet a couple of weeks ago. It was in testnet for a very long time, but now they're dropping 10% of the total token supply to people that use the Tyco mainnet. And this one is 100% transaction based. So the way that you earn points is by every transaction that you push on the Tyco network, you earn 560 points. So that is the baseline way that you qualify for this. But then every bridge transaction that you push to Tyco earns points as well. And you earn points based on the amount that you bridge. So if you bridge, let's say 1 ETH every day, then you can qualify for a larger amount of points than if you bridge 0.1 ETH. And again, this is completely transaction based. So the more transactions that you push, and there's a daily max, the more points that you'll get. And the more that you bridge, the more points that you'll get as well. Now, there are definitely some strategies for ranking up in this, but I promised people in my Discord that I wouldn't dilute them. I'm ranked 5,700 without actually pushing that many transactions. The last transaction I pushed was 3 days ago, but I know some people that are in the top 10 and the top 50. So this one, fully transaction based. And then they do have these badges, which you can collect on a weekly basis. So they're going to drop 1 new challenge or quest each week. And if you complete that, you get the badge, which will probably have some sort of points multiplier or relevance later on. So Tyco is definitely, in my opinion, the #1 transaction-based airdrop where it's still early. They have a huge amount of funding, solid backers, and you can definitely rank up for this without having that much capital. The other transaction-based L2 airdrop that is actually worth farming, in my opinion, is Zora. So this one, again, you don't need a huge amount of money. Even if you just bridge $50 or $100, that will go a long way for Zora. And what you need to do to qualify for this one is, for starters, to, well, create your own NFT collections. So I've created a few here. Then to mint other people's NFT collections, you can visit the home or the trending page just to see what's going on and find stuff to mint. And then there's a few other bonus things, like you can mint a Zora domain name and attach that to your wallet. And you can also farm the Enjoy airdrop on Zora, which is a meme coin on Zora. But overall, this is transaction based, not TVL based, so there's no need to bridge $1,000 and hold it here. In my opinion, this airdrop is going to be heavily weighted towards creating NFT collections and minting NFT collections. And I've posted a full tutorial on my channel talking about how to qualify for Zora, so you can check that out if you want a more detailed breakdown. So those are the 2 completely transaction-based airdrops where TVL does not seem to really matter at all at this point. Now, moving on from that, there are a couple of hybrid airdrops that I did want to mention. So Mantle is one of those. Now, they have already dropped a token, the MNT token, and they did 1 round of an airdrop, but they also did say that there's going to be other future rounds of their airdrop journey. And in the first round of their airdrop, they rewarded both TVL and actually activity on the network. So by pushing transactions, making swaps, and moving volume, you got rewarded, as well as for just taking money and then depositing it into some DeFi application. So right now, in terms of how to prepare for Mantle or to continue farming it, there's a few main things. One is to stake MNT tokens in the Mantle reward station. The other is to acquire some METH, which is the Mantle staked ETH, and use that in DeFi. And then the third main thing to do is to just explore the ecosystem of apps on Mantle and push transactions. The other hybrid airdrop that I wanted to highlight here is Mode. And this is an interesting opportunity because in season 1 of Mode, it was completely based on TVL, or very, very heavily based on TVL. So if you deposited $10,000 and held it there, you did really well. But if you pushed a whole bunch of transactions, you didn't earn that many points. Now though, just a couple of days ago, they added activity points, and they're giving 5 million points per day to people that push transactions, make swaps, and move volume around. And so now it's actually possible to rank up for this without having a huge amount of money and just by pushing a bunch of transactions. So in season 2 of the Mode airdrop, there is an opportunity to do this as a hybrid airdrop. If you're gonna use a lot of capital, you can do that and be lazy, or if you only have a couple $100s, you can just move that around a bunch and still rank up for this airdrop. And even in the past few days, I've noticed that my rank for this has started to slip. Even though I have a large amount of capital on this network, it doesn't matter because I haven't been pushing transactions and other people have been ranking up. So there you go. In my opinion, those are 10 of the best L2 airdrop targets right now. We've got 6 TVL or liquidity-based airdrops because a lot of the meta seems to be kind of shifting towards that. However, there are still some solid transaction-based airdrops with Tycho and Zora, and then also some hybrid ones like Mantle and Mode. But the TVL ones include Linea, Scroll, Carrick, Swell, Rhea, and Zirkit. All of these, I think, are solid airdrop targets moving forward. So hopefully you found this video helpful. Thanks so much for watching and have a great day.